Y'all, I cannot even do an intro for this video today. I do not have the strength. I do not have the strength, okay? And I think that this is an appropriate time to put a little prayer out into the world, okay? To put a little prayer out into the world to help me and you to get through this video, okay? Where we're going to talk about the foolishness and the scammetry of what is going on out there in the world today, because I cannot, okay? I cannot. So let's do a little bit of prayer so I can help find some strength to get through this video without being so heated that I have a heart attack. My Lord, dear heavenly baby Jesus, so precious are you, or the universe, or whoever you pray to. Please grant us the strength to get through this video and deal with this scammetry, the lies, the deception, without having a heart attack. Please let us expose these demons and the evil of the world. Please exorcise it from their hearts. Please let them see the truth of their ways. Please let them see the lies of their ways. Please let them find refuge from the lies of their ways. Please allow them to be better people and to stop with their scammetry and their lies. Thank you so much, you precious baby Jesus. All right, now let's get into this video. I'm ready now. Okay, whew. That felt much better, okay? She's not a Christian! Gargoyles, Ouija boards! I needed a moment, okay? I needed a moment because I'm very worried in making this video. It's 90 degrees in Indianapolis. I'm sitting outside, okay? Why, you might ask me, why am I sitting outside if it's 90 degrees? Peter, why aren't you sitting inside? Okay, well, my husband, after 15 delays of getting home from Mexico for his brother's bachelor party yesterday, he finally got in at 1:30 in the morning. He, unfortunately, ate a bad cheeseburger in Mexico City, and his stomach doesn't feel so good today, okay? So he's laid up in bed today with the ills, the sicknesses of the world, okay? While I'm down here in the heat talking about the sicknesses and the ills of the world. We're going to talk about James Charles, this Cosmopolitan article, and Gabrielle Bluestone, the author, okay? All of which are doubling down on this article. I cannot believe what I woke up to this morning, okay? I'm absolutely blown away. I'm like blown away. I honestly, I am like, this is unbelievable to me, okay? Y'all are some sick people out there, Cosmopolitan and Gabrielle Bluestone. Y'all are sick people out there, okay? That you are doubling down and that you are not retracting this article and that you are not apologizing or any of this kind of stuff. I'm so blown away. So I was sent this by several people today, okay? Several people sent this to me on the Instagram, okay? Here it is. I'm not including a bunch of receipts. I don't even feel like Cosmopolitan deserves that. So Cosmopolitan posts this, okay, 2 hours ago, or 3 hours ago probably now, up on their Instagram, okay? We asked the world, it's a picture of James Charles, okay? Now, if you go to their link in their bio, it links to the article, okay? We asked the world if it was interested in uncanceling James Charles. Our comments exploded, all right? Now, underneath here, it says, read the story everyone's debating, from anger on Twitter to empathy on TikTok at the link in the bio, okay? And I was like, are you kidding me? Okay, so you come out with this article, which is basically a redemption piece, okay, handed to James Charles, over these allegations that he took full responsibility for, even though your author in your article said that they couldn't be verified. Well, he verified them in taking responsibility in an article or in a video that you linked in your article called, see, I can, woo, sweet baby Jesus, please give me the strength. I'm already getting heated. Okay, I do not want to die out here on my front porch from talking about James Charles. He ain't worth it. Okay, so anyway, he took accountability and validated and verified that there was truth to the allegations in a video that you linked on your article. But we're going to talk about that in a second because I reread the article, I rewatched the videos, holding myself accountable and open conversation because unlike you, a research journalist, okay, me, a little old drama commentary channel, doesn't have any problem doing my research, okay, to back up what I have to say. I also read the comments, all of them, okay, on your Instagram post. Noticed that Cosmopolitan did not repost this on their Twitter because they're too afraid of the backlash that they're going to get. Notice that Gabrielle Bluestone has unprivatized her Twitter, where she is getting massive backlash, okay, from all these different people out there that cannot believe that she actually wrote this article and is not retracting what she said in it, okay? And I also went on TikTok where you said there's tons of empathy for James Charles. I'm sorry, other than maybe a few 12-year-olds, I found very little of empathy on TikTok, of which I'm going to prove, okay? So the article is a lie. The article is a defense piece for James Charles that has very little factual evidence in it whatsoever. You didn't do your research, your due research as a research journalist, okay, that calls out scammers. You have no credibility as an author. You have no credibility as a magazine. And yet, you use these allegations, which James Charles came out himself and took responsibility for. You use the allegations, you use the actions that James Charles was interacting inappropriately with minors. Cosmopolitan, you use those actions as a marketing tactic, okay? That is absolutely disgusting. If it wasn't disgusting enough that you wrote the article, that you posted and approved the article, and that you posted on your Twitter and your Instagram before, it's even more disgusting that you're doubling down now, which is such a big FU to your audience and to the people out there to say, we are not backing down from this article. We are not hiding behind it. Or hiding from it. We stand behind what it says. Oh, and furthermore, we are going to use the debate. Okay, there is no debate. Okay, James Charles came out in a video and took responsibility for these actions. That is all the verification, the validity that you need, okay? Period, end of story. He self-confessed. Okay, so why you can get in an article, or how you can get in an article and say that you can't verify these, he self-confessed in a video, okay? We asked the world if it was interested in uncanceling James Charles, and our comments exploded. Read the story everyone's debating, from anger on Twitter to empathy on TikTok, at the link in a bio. So you are using the debate, okay, of the allegations that James Charles had inappropriate relationships with minors, okay? You're using that really sick relationship that he had, at least with 2 people, okay? They want to quote in here that there's been 15 allegations. Well, I just want to talk about the 2 that he takes responsibility for, okay? Which he also says in his video, because I just watched it again for about the 15th time. 1 last year and 1 more recently, which we're going to get to that in just a second, okay? Because that's very important when you're talking about this. Because James Charles, if he wants to say in his Holding Myself Accountability video, 1 last year and 1 more recently, okay? But he also says in the article and in his videos that he checked as soon as he found out, which was right away, he stopped having conversations with them. Then you would think that the first time that it happened to him, he wouldn't be having conversations with people in his DMs again, right? Okay. But yet he did it again later, months later, okay? His words, not mine. His words in his Holding Myself Accountability video, which you obviously didn't watch. Which, by the way, in that same video, he also says that his hope has always been, and this is an exact quote, to be in a relationship with someone my age or older. At the time of the video, he was 20 years old, okay? Later, he comes out in an interview on the Logan Paul podcast and says, I'm not physically attracted to older guys. I would date like the absolute youngest, like 18 or 19, that looks a little bit older. Okay, that's also an exact quote from the Logan Paul podcast. You can go look those up. I just did, all right? So James Charles can't get his lies straight. James Charles can't get his story straight. James Charles just wants a redemption arc, all right? So I went underneath this Instagram story, and I wanted to read the comments that were underneath here. Hold on just a second, okay? Since they want to say that there's this huge debate and people are going back and forth, and what they say that everyone's debating. No, I don't think everybody's debating it. I think everybody's on the same side, okay? So these are the comments, and I'm just going to read them straight down underneath their link, or their article on Instagram. Man, I forgot he was relevant. Can we go back to that? Man, screw him. Groomers don't get to come back. Girl, bye. Groomers don't get sympathy. No ignorance is not an excuse. This is 2023. So the money is not coming in, so he needs a payday. Got you. Sir, you've been exiled. It is what it is. Do us all a favor. Stay gone. No, he's disturbing. Bye-bye. You don't come back from that, bro. Stay gone. No, dear, you gone. Do something else for a living. A guy just needs to shut up for real. The entitlement is unreal. He should be happy that he was successful to begin with. He has enough money to live, invest, surely. What a POS, okay? So, there's the debate underneath your article where you said there was a debate. Where's the debate? It seems like a pretty one-sided debate, if there's a debate, okay? So, I went over to TikTok because I thought to myself, well, maybe I'm wrong, okay? Like I have said in many videos over the years and many videos recently, I do not have a problem admitting when I'm wrong. So I thought, well, maybe the take on TikTok is different. Maybe people over there really are showing James Charles empathy and sympathy, right? So I went in and I watched many TikToks, okay? And I wanted to see what these people had to say. Now, here's one girl's TikTok, and she says, the James Charles Cosmopolitan article is a mess, okay? I watched another TikTok, and I went straight down. You can go over there and put James Charles Cosmopolitan in and go watch the top TikToks straight down, okay? This guy says, James Charles is the last MFer to deserve a redemption arc. You can see it right at the top, okay? Then I go in, this one says, this man never takes accountability for his actions, okay? This is actually one of the bigger ones. So I go in there. A girl posts, when do you get blocked on IG because the predator apologist who wrote the horrendous James Charles Cosmo article, okay? Goes on and on and on. I read all of these. This girl puts on here, I also want to mention that even as a 22-year-old, it's still weird to be going for 18-year-olds. Like, yes, it's not a big age gap, but an 18-year-old is graduating high school while a 22-year-old is graduating college. Like a completely different phase of life and very different levels of maturity. And she goes on to say all this kind of stuff, okay? So, I'm going through all these TikToks, and I'm like, where's the empathy? I'm not finding the empathy, right? Oh, actually, those comments that I read to you, those were from the TikToks. That was the one-sided debate from TikTok. So I got that wrong. Hold on. Let me read you the comments from underneath the article. Hold on a second. Well, I guess that just proves my point even earlier, okay? So those were the comments that I got from several different TikToks, okay? That are like, bro, you need to just be gone, blah, 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 whatever, okay? The comments right underneath the article on Instagram is this. No empathy for a grown man who grooms young boys. I don't understand why this is even a conversation. This. Couldn't have said it better myself. Sorry, we don't excuse pedophiles, not sorry. Shocking. People won't tolerate toxic behavior from public personalities. Isn't he a pedo, though? No, we're not interested. Next question. Nope, 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 nope. I thought it would be a new report. No new words, no new results. Nope, he groomed several young boys. He should be canceled forever. No, nope. This is so embarrassing for Cosmopolitan. Somebody put real facts underneath that. Nah. So my question is, why should this be a question? If it was anyone else, it would be canceled. So again, why is it still a conversation? Okay, pass. Cosmo is really overestimating the amount of people that care for this guy. Why should I support someone who is texting people in my age group? Absolutely not. I don't know. Child grooming shouldn't really be up for debate. And it goes on and on. Who is debating? LMAO, fake news. Right, that's you, Cosmopolitan, fake news. You've lost all credibility as a magazine, okay? The story everyone is debating. Nope, I think everyone in the comments here agrees. Exactly. No, he's staying canceled as AF forever. We don't want him. Seriously, how is this even up for debate? No, I'm like reading these straight down, you guys, off of their Instagram account. Nope, no, again with this, always, okay, it goes on stupid, no, pass by, who's he? Nope. No thanks, does it again, gets called out, keeps doing it again, nope. Should not even be a question, I'm sorry, but why the F would I be okay with a groomer? I mean, it just goes on and on and on, you guys. No, can't stand him, he's creepy AF, and sorry he knew what he was doing was grooming kids, that is unacceptable, goodbye forever. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, okay? And then that's when I went in and I read the TikTok, or I watched the TikToks, and I read to you guys several of the comments that I found on there, like, groomers don't get sympathy, do us all a favor, stay gone. I mean, these are from several different videos that I read these comments, okay? Now, I will tell you that I found on one TikTok that hadn't gotten tons of traction, people were saying things like, well, I think that what he did was wrong, and he did admit that he was inappropriately sexting and having sexual conversations with minors, but I don't think that he's predator. I don't think that he's a pedophile. I don't think that he's grooming, right? Okay, I don't know what has happened in 2023. I don't know, like, I mean, if you have a, you know, like if you hold these up, right, and you can see through them, and you can see through, they're called reading glasses, okay, and you can see through them better, and I bought them on a website that's called Caddis Reading Glasses, and I show them to somebody, and they go, well, you can see through them better, and they're from a website that says reading glasses, and yes, they do look like reading glasses, but they're not really, I don't call them reading glasses, okay, I call them bricks, okay, I don't really believe that they're bricks. I'm not really sure what has happened in 2023, where all of these articles, whether it's the Andrew Quintana article in defense of Colleen Ballinger in the Vanity Fair piece, or if it is this Gabrielle Bluestone article in Cosmopolitan, or the millions of people out there that feel like they can just come up with their own definitions, where do we stop going to source material for evidentiary facts? Where do we stop going to people that are actually experts in these fields? Why did we stop doing that, okay? Why did we just kind of come up with our own opinion about very serious topics? Well, no, I don't believe that. This is part of the problem of social media, okay? Is when you have 12-year-olds on TikTok defending something that they weren't even around for because they were 8 or 9 at the time, okay? And saying, well, yeah, what he did was kind of wrong. Like, he shouldn't have probably been sexting minors. But, like, I don't know that I think it's predatorial, okay? Not to mention, I actually saw some grown adults that said a few of those things on one TikTok, okay? Now, mind you, when I watched the majority of these TikToks, the majority of the TikToks just kind of did an overview of the article, and at the end of it said, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And the thoughts were not pretty or in favor of James Charles or the article, okay? That was the majority of the major TikToks that were out there. There was only one TikTok that I saw that had any kind of defensiveness against James Charles, and you could tell that this person has a very young following, and a lot of people didn't know it. But even on there, I saw a couple older people, with their, because you could tell from their profile pictures, that were like, yeah, I've loved James Charles since his career started, and he didn't do anything wrong. Yes, he was sexting minors and having inappropriate conversations with them. Okay, so like I asked again, why is it that we can just kind of come up with our own terminology in 2023 and we're not going to source material of people that are actually experts in the field, okay? Like, I feel like that is so problematic. And you want to talk about, like, the whole idea of canceled culture and things like that, and then you want to know why James Charles has an audience, you know, all these years later, and people have just kind of forgotten, which she actually references in the article we're going to go through here in just a second again, because there's some things that I found that I hadn't found before. Don't listen, Vanity Fair, Cosmopolitan, any other article out there that's going to write these kind of pieces, don't make me read your articles twice, because if I start reading articles 2 and 3 times, I'm going to find things that I didn't find before, okay? Because I'm going to go in there and I'm going to find discrepancies of what you guys do and how you choose your words and all that kind of stuff, and I'm going to prove that your articles are pieces of shit, okay? So, listen, I prayed, I prayed. For those of you out there who are so confused by the beginning of my video, they're like, okay, Peter's not religious, he's spiritual. I know. That was kind of supposed to be funny, and that was supposed to be like a ha-ha part, right? Okay, I am so, like, done with these people, right? That they don't go to source materials. And then what you allow your audience who's in defense of these people, because they're like, oh yeah, like, I love James Charles, I love Colleen Ballinger, everything that you're saying is absolutely right. Because you do get people, like I got in my video the other day from Colleen Ballinger superfans that say, Colleen didn't do anything wrong, and I love her for the rest of my life. That article was fantastic. Well, they love that article because that article was a defense piece against Colleen Ballinger. This article is a defense piece against James Charles. So, of course, these people love it, right? Of course they do. Well, it has inaccurate information in it. It has inaccurate definitions of it. If you guys actually went to source material and looked what experts are saying about this, for example, to people that are saying, well, James Charles was sexting minors, and he was having inappropriate conversations with minors, but he didn't know, even though he said it was his responsibility to find out their ages. One last year, one more recently, he said in his Holding Myself Accountability video, y'all can go watch these videos. I did multiple times, okay? The video that he took down, that she doesn't even mention in her article that she took down, but she links it. And who does she link it to? She links it to somebody that re-uploaded it on YouTube. So she had to go to the video, okay, that somebody else re-uploaded it, which I'm going to shout out in just a second, okay? But she links that video, doesn't ever mention that James Charles deleted it, but she had to go in and search, so she had to have known that James Charles deleted the original video because she links it to somebody that re-uploaded it on YouTube, right? Okay, but she doesn't mention that he deleted the video. Don't you think that's a pretty pertinent piece of information for somebody that you're handing a redemption arc? All right, sweetheart. So anyway, let's go in here to these people that want to say, you know, James Charles, he's not a predator and blah, 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 blah. So I went up, again, I've read all these articles from all these institutions, all these organizations, blah, 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 whatever, okay? How serious is sexting a minor? And then it goes on and says all this kind of stuff, right? And it goes in here and it cites that sexting is a term used for sending, receiving, or forwarding a sexually explicit image, photograph, or message. James Charles did those things. Although sexting usually occurs on cell phones, it can also take place on a computer or any other digital device. And it goes in here. Is sexting illegal? It is important to know that while sexting between consenting adults is not illegal, sending or receiving a sexually suggestive text or image to or from a person under the age of 18 is considered sexual exploitation or child pornography and can result in criminal charges. It doesn't really matter if they knew how old they were or not, or if that person lied, okay? And the fact that people out there want to blame these kids at that age for lying to a person, when she even says in her video, if a major celebrity dipped into your DMs, would you respond to them? Well, first of all, sweetheart, if you had watched James Charles Holding Myself Accountability video, what you would know is that James Charles says in the video that they reached out to him first. So he never had to answer. He could have gone to their profile pictures like he said he could have done, okay? If you had fact-checked his video. He could have looked at he said it was easy to find their ages from their social media, okay? So before he ever interacted with them for the first time, he could have looked on their social... Now, I believe in prayer, but this prayer is not working today. I'm getting so heated, okay? He could have easily, before he said it in his video, that they reached out to him first, okay? He never had to interact with them. So whether or not he knew how old they truly were, whether or not they lied to him, he said in his video, okay? Which in his Holding Accountability video, he says, he refers to it as a scandal. In his Open Conversation video, which is still up, where he reiterates it, but then blames it on all the false allegations, because that's his defense against this, okay, is all the multiple false allegations, which is why it is so important in talking about stories like Colleen Ballinger, James Charles, any of these people, that we have to stick to the facts, okay, and get rid of the fake rumors out there, because the fake rumors are what these people fall back on to make excuses, because that's what James Charles always says. There's no truth to these allegations. Well, there was truth to two of them, because you came out and it's been proven with evidence, and you came out and took accountability for at least those two, okay? One is an incident. Two is a pattern. So, you know, James Charles, cry me a river about how difficult your life is, and all these people are coming out now and saying, well, he wasn't really uncanceled. This is on TikTok. This is your empathy on TikTok, where people are like, James Charles still has a thriving career, and he has videos that get about 1 million views, and he's living in a $7 million house in LA. How is he uncanceled? He has a brand coming out. You want to be uncanceled, you never were canceled. Do you know why? Because you fell back on this defense of the fact that there were all these fake allegations, which there were. There was nothing right about that, okay? But you fell back on that as your excuse. That's why you left up your Open Conversation video, okay, but took down the other one. In your Open Conversation video, you said it's way too serious. We shouldn't be referring to it as a scandal. In your Holding Myself Accountability video, you referred to it as a scandal. So what is it, James? Okay, in your Holding Myself Accountability video, you said you want to date older people. In Logan Paul's video, or podcast, you said you want to date people as young as possible, like 18 or 19 that look older, okay? What 18-year-old looks 30? Most don't, okay? And those aren't, and just if we even fact check the people that you've interacted with, which we've all seen the pictures, they aren't 18-year-olds or even people younger that look 30. They're not. They're 18-year-olds that look 16 years old, okay? That's the truth. All right, so you can run and hide and say all these things all you want, but then and to sit in that Logan Paul video and go, you know, well, I'm 21 years old, but I have the maturity of a 40-year-old. Okay, that's pretty scary to even make that statement. So it goes on here and it says, in the United States, 8 states have enacted bills which protect minors from sexting, while an additional 13 states have proposed bills to legislation. Although there have been some highly publicized cases, prosecution of minors for distribution of sexting photos remains relatively rare. It is much more likely for adults to be prosecuted for sending or receiving sexting photos, okay? So please tell me again how your opinion is so important, okay, about the fact that James Charles, you can come out in an opinion, okay, which is exactly what this article is, an opinion-based piece. How you can come out and you can say, I don't care how old you are, I don't care if you're 12 or if you're 72, okay, how you can come out and say, James Charles did send inappropriate messages to minors. James Charles did do this. James Charles did do that. But I don't think that it's predatory behavior when experts are literally telling you it's illegal, okay? In 8 states and more are trying to pass that. How can you come out and say that, okay? Oh, it's your opinion that it's not? Well, your opinion is false, okay? It reminds me of watching a TikTok of this woman getting pulled over in the state of Florida after she had just moved there from Georgia, okay? And she's drunker than a skunk. And they asked for a driver's license, and she says that she doesn't have to have a driver's license to drive in the state of Florida, okay? That's common law, and she's aware of that, okay? And these police officers are laughing at her. She's like, I know that to be true. That's my opinion. And my opinion is the truth. And I'm a citizen, and I don't have to have a driver's license. You only have to have a commercial driver's license. And they're like, no. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because your opinion is just as foolish as hers is, okay? When there is literally expert evidence to back up what this person did. And the only reason that there is no legal recourse to this is because these people did not file charges. And if they had, let's just play it out. If they had, okay, and they had pressed charges about this, I'm telling you right now, no court would care if James Charles hadn't done his research and found out, and if they had lied to him, okay? You think a court of law is going to shame a minor and say, oh, well, you lied to him, so it's all your fault? Are you kidding me? And this would have been so blown out of proportion, okay? And then the fact that she wants to use this minor, who at the time was 16 years old, so is 20, okay? And say that and use him as an example that he came out and apologized to James Charles. Yeah, because he's probably still a fan of James Charles and he feels bad about how all this went down. And you use him to shame him in your article. Like, you're further victim shaming these people. This is why they have traumatic or trauma years and years down the road. Not just because of what happened, but because you force them to relive it in your article and then you shame them on top of it. You are disgusting, Gabrielle Bluestone, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Okay? And I hope to God that you made a lot of money, and I hope these people force you to pay for their therapy bills when they're 30 and 40 and 50 years old for causing them trauma down the road. This is really sad. So I went in and I reread her article, her stupid ass article, okay? After I did my expert research on looking at the definitions of these things on multiple organizations and institutions that it is their job. Not just my opinion, okay? Not just my opinion, which honestly, when I do look at the definitions, it makes Colleen Ballinger even look worse than she already looks, okay? It makes James Charles look a hell of a lot worse than he already looks. And I think that people want to minimize it to, well, there were 15 allegations and all of them were fake, okay? I don't know if you guys, like, if you watch the news or stuff, but if James Charles had only done this one time and they had pressed charges, this would have been a major, 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 major issue for him, okay? It already was. Number two, if it happened twice. If both of those people had pressed charges, no matter if they had lied to him or not, we would not be reading this article right now about James Charles. James Charles' life would look very different, okay? So here it is. Now, they didn't change one thing in this article. Not one thing, okay? They doubled down. James Charles would like to be uncanceled, please. More than 2 years after allegations of sexual impropriety that sent the superstar beauty YouTuber into influencer purgatory. Ridiculous. He's hoping to relaunch himself and his brand with the help of a new makeup line. That's entirely what this article is all about. To help him relaunch his brand. And no, I'm not going to restate all the facts that I stated in my last video. You guys can go watch it. But this is the part that I want to talk about first. It is the year of our internet, 2023, and as surely as the sun rises, an internet celebrity has an apology to make. So, here I am, sitting in James Charles' Encino mansion like a pop culture priest, ready to take his confession. So, Gabrielle Bluestone, here's my question to you. In your article, you start the article with this very hard-hitting fact, okay? As a research journalist, it is the year of our internet, 2023, and as surely as the sun rises, an internet celebrity has an apology to make. Can you explain to me where anywhere in this article James Charles makes an apology? I don't see it in there. I see him make a lot of excuses. I see him blame a lot of other people. I see you blame a lot of other people. I see you make a lot of defenses for him. I don't see James Charles once in this entire article make an apology. So how you can lead with a statement like that is total BS, okay? First of all, there's no apology in this video. So it goes on, he says all this kind of stuff that I'm not going to get into again. This video is going to stop, or this battery, hold on a second. It stops at the 30-minute mark, so I had to make sure I stopped that, okay. So it goes on, and she says all this kind of stuff, blah, 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 whatever. After all, would a still ousted person be allowed to pose for red carpet cameras, the People's Choice Award, or chat amicably with paparazzi while out and about in Hollywood, which she links showing pictures of? Would a still banished person have hundreds of thousands of fans enthusiastically engaged with his YouTube beauty tutorials? Would a truly exiled person be 24 years old and living in a reportedly $7 million farmhouse that looks like a cross between the homes featured in the later seasons of Vanderpump Rules, or any season of all the iterations of the Kardashians? And it goes on to talk about all this kind of stuff, right? Okay. So I want to get to this part because this was the part that I talked about that, but I didn't reference where he comes out and he talks about this down the road about his PR, okay? So I want to reference that exactly. Hold on a second. Okay, I stopped it because it was taking me way too long to find it, because what she does is she talks about that saying, well, if this person was truly canceled, would he be invited to all of these things? Would he be able to do all these kinds of things and go to red carpet events and this and that and whatever? She literally, about 10 paragraphs down, you have to search for it, she says, eventually he hired a PR firm to help. They were trying to get me into every single event and premiere and red carpet and show, and every single one of them was a no, he says. But ultimately the gatekeepers, which I think is an interesting word that she uses, by some mysterious, the gatekeepers of what? Of keeping a predator out of their events? Okay, but ultimately, just like other words that Andrew Quintana used in his article to defend Colin Ballinger, alright, but ultimately the gatekeepers, by some mysterious but increasingly common mixture of alchemy and time, softened. Charles started making significant appearances, the Grammys, the Scream 6 movie premiere, a Young Hollywood Night hosted by Vanity Fair. Well, you just discredited Vanity Fair. Okay? That they allow predators to their shows. No wonder they're defending Colin Ballinger. And TikTok. Oh, and she puts in parentheses. He also, I should note, appeared at a cosmopolitan party in LA. I wonder if that's how he had this wonderful redemption arc defensive piece of crap piece written about him. Because he has an N at Cosmopolitan. Well, you just shared that piece with us right here. You just discredited yourself, Gabrielle Bluestone. Okay, good for you. And then she goes on, and now there's Painted, the biggest business swing yet. The first product, create paint, and it goes on and says all this kind of crap, right? Okay. So it goes on to all this kind of stuff, which is interesting to me because she then says, when I polled friends and colleagues about Charles in the run-up to this day, the general consensus was that he had done something bad, but no one was clearly clear on exactly what. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up again, okay, was because she references in her article, I don't even know if I can find out where it is because this article is so full of words to make you think one thing about it. But she goes in here and she talks about how she was watching dramageddon go down, okay? And that she was so bored with her life because she's an attorney and award-winning journalist, and she was so bored with her life that she was watching everything go on with dramageddon, which, by the way, she gets wrong, okay? She didn't even do her research on that. And as a YouTuber and a drama commentary channel that covered dramageddon exclusively at that time, I can tell you, I do know what happened at that time. So she goes on here, hold on a second, where does she say this? She refers to something about dramageddon and says, and I don't even remember who that person is, but blah, 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 whatever, it had something to do with these pills, okay? And I'm like, oh, she's talking about Tati Westbrook here. And I mentioned this in my first video, right? She says, as a very online millennial, that's how she describes herself, which as a very online millennial, you're telling me that you had no idea what James Charles was accused of, and neither did any of your friends? As a very online millennial, you're a liar straight from the pit of hell. I had long been ambiently aware of Charles while also knowing next to nothing about him. Now, how could you be a very online millennial when this was one of the biggest stories that ever hit the internet? And you have no clue what he did? You're a liar. The influencer's platonic ideal. Bored at home during the pandemic, I watched a dramageddon feud he had with another YouTuber whose name I can never remember. A hilariously non-scandal scandal that possibly had something to do with hair vitamins. Okay, first of all, you didn't do your research, okay? Had you done your research, you wouldn't just say, somebody I can't remember, okay? This is called creative nonfiction, which is what Andrew Quintana does in his Vanity Fair article. They make it about them, okay? And their experience interacting with this person. They bring you into their story, okay? This is what she's doing to diminish all of that. Well, yes, Tati Westbrook took down and recanted her story, okay? But there were many other people out there that did not recant their story, okay? And there's a lot of evidence out there, all right? So the fact that you don't even mention Toddy Westbrook in this, you don't even mention that the video that you linked, holding myself accountable, that he took down, but you link it to somebody else's video in here, okay. But you don't remember what any of this is about. Okay, Dramageddon 1, and I covered all of them, okay? Dramageddon 1 was not just about Toddy Westbrook being upset that James Charles, and yes, I do remember the facts, went to Coachella and got Coachella passes from Sugar Bear Hair and wouldn't endorse Toddy Westbrook's Halo Beauty Pills, okay, or whatever they're called. That was not Dramageddon 1, okay? A lot of people want to blame it on that and say that that's why Toddy came out and said all that she had to say about Andrew did it at my dinner party or my dinner party and things like that, which is now a huge joke to James Charles, which I proved in my video yesterday about James Charles and Shane Dawson have not changed, okay? I proved that in my video yesterday that this is all just a joke to him. So if it's a joke to James Charles and he's holding up a cake, which you don't mention in your article about and you did it at my birthday party and all that's kind of just funny ha-ha now, right? Like, and he's making jokes about it. What's the need to do this interview talking about please uncancel me if it's all just a big joke and there's no seriousness to these allegations? Okay. And then she goes on and, I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous. So she has, like, she has not done her research. She doesn't know what she's going to talk about, but she wants to say, as a very online millennial, you had no clue what was going on with James Charles. You are a joke. You are a joke. Anyway, it goes on, then she gives this whole inaccurate description of how he got his start and blah, 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 whatever, but she doesn't talk about all the allegations about the ring light or that he sent his photos off to be edited and things like that, okay? And how he basically faked his way to fame. She doesn't talk about all of that, okay? She doesn't talk about the fact that he had multiple YouTube channels, which if you did your research, you would know this, okay? And that he had been trying to get on YouTube for years and years and years, doing all these other kind of videos that had absolutely nothing to do with makeup. But he saw the fact that there were beauty boys, which is what they were referred to back then, beauty boys doing makeup, and that he thought this was his come-up, okay? So that's what he did, and that's what got him famous, okay? And that's what got him on the Ellen Show, but you don't mention any of that. Then she downplays the tweets about Africa and Ebola and all this kind of stuff, okay, and just makes them out like they're not any big deal. Then she goes on and talks about all these, you know, allegations and whatever, but she constantly refers to them as scandals, even though he said not to refer to them as scandals, okay? And then she goes on and says, in the end, substantiated or not, multiple media reports indicated that at least 15 boys and men had accused Charles of inappropriate behavior. Charles says now about the breadth of the allegations, the source of where the list came from was not doing any sort of research, no fact-checking. Well, neither did the writer of this article, so how you could even come out and say that? Okay, and this is where the open conversation, people want to ask me why I don't reference that video. It's problematic, okay? Because in his first video, which he took down, holding myself accountable, he takes full responsibility. In the second video, he took that video down. In his second video, an open conversation, where he's doing a get ready with me, okay? He reiterates much of what is said in the Holding Myself Accountability video, but then much of the video is dedicated, and it is still up on his channel, much of the video is dedicated to the false allegations, which he uses as an excuse, which Gabrielle Bluestone allows him to use as an excuse and minimizes the two true victim stories, okay? So I don't know where in this world magazine publications and all these people think that it's okay whether it's 1 or 2 or 15, okay? And then goes in and victim shames these people because they asked for compensation to do an interview where they were again going to have to relive traumatic experiences of their life, that they were again going to have to be exposed publicly. She reached out to a 20-year-old and asked for a statement, and she thinks that them asking, am I going to get paid for this, is an inappropriate question, when I think a lot of grown adults would ask that question. Oh, and by the way, James Charles' payment for this, which he probably paid for this article to be written by his PR team that got him into all these cosmopolitan parties and things like that. But James Charles' payment for this is a redemption arc, okay? And if the article had worked in his favor, it would have been a huge payoff for his new brand coming out, okay? So let's not victim shame these 20-year-old kids that came out and shared very true stories that James Charles took accountability for, and shame them and minimize their stories because they asked for compensation to relive traumatic experiences so that your article could be used as a marketing tactic for Cosmopolitan, when James Charles' payoff was going to be millions of dollars on his new brand. Are you effing kidding me? Are you effing kidding me? Do you have any morals or integrity? Does any of the staff of Cosmopolitan or Gabrielle Bluestone or any of these people out there, do they have, Lord, I mean, it is so sick and twisted to me. I cannot believe that they use this and double down on it, okay? I could not believe that you care so much about this worthless, pathetic article and that you care so much about defending James Charles. You care so much. You are supposedly in a women's empowerment magazine, okay? Women who have gone through very, very similar stories in their lives, okay? Women who have been accused of saying, well, you deserved it because of this. Well, if you hadn't done this, you know, blah, blah, blah. Women that have had to live that way their entire lives. I share this story a lot, okay, on my vlog, that my mother, when she was growing up, she had 2 boys looking in her window as she was changing, okay? And when her stepfather called the police, this was in the 50s, okay? When her stepfather called the police and the police came out, they said to her, do you wear enticing clothes to school? Do you wear tight sweaters to show off your breasts? She was 14 years old at the time, okay? The entirety of her life until she got sober, she continued to wear baggy clothes to hide her breasts because she was so ashamed and she thought she brought on that attention, okay? It wasn't until she got sober and she was able to live happy, joyous, and free that she said, if somebody wants to look at my breasts, that's on them, not on me, but keep your eyes up here where the real brains are, okay? So for you to victim shame somebody as a magazine that is supposed to be about women's empowerment and talking about women constantly, and yet you are furthering the stigma of all of this is absolutely disgusting, okay? It's disgusting to me. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And for that piece alone, you should retract this article, okay? And the fact that a woman wrote this article is even worse, okay? That women have to constantly live, I mean, it's just unbelievable to me. I mean, I'm like so blown away, okay? Of all of my friends that are women, of which the majority of my friends are women that have experienced sexual trauma in their life and have been sexualized on and on and on, and all of their stories are similar, that there are people in their life, family members and friends, that have said, well, if you hadn't been here, or if you hadn't done that, or whatever, and then Cosmopolitan, who's supposed to be a magazine about women's empowerment, allegedly, okay, has the nerve to victim shame victims in this article. Are you kidding me? Seriously? And you want to feed into that stigma, okay? And it's 2023. I cannot, okay? And then to see a few comments where people come out and they say that anybody that is coming, and I could not believe this when I read some of these comments, and there was only a few, but people were saying that people that are coming hard for James Charles are homophobic, and that they are, like, they're using homophobia as an excuse to come for James Charles. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I am 51 years old, and I am a proud, gay, married man living in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is a very conservative city, okay? I've been out since I was 18 years old. I have worked very, very hard on anti-bullying campaigns and for marriage equality, all right? And this, James Charles' actions, lead to the stigma that gay men have fought for years and years and years. So do not come out and say that people are hating on James Charles because of homophobia. That is absolutely 100% inaccurate. James Charles is part of the reason why we have to fight that stigma, okay? And yes, that is why I take personal issue with it. James Charles owes a huge apology to the LGBT community, all right? But what does he do? He continues to do videos with RuPaul's Drag Race contestants and sit at the RuPaul Drag Race audience, okay? When drag shows are being canceled all over the country and states are ruling out against drag shows and drag artists, okay? Because of this stigma that James Charles has perpetuated. So no, okay, it is not homophobia that is leading against coming for James Charles. James Charles is playing into the homophobia and that stigma as a gay man in the community. And it's disgusting, okay? And he can apologize to his friends, and he can apologize to his family, and he can apologize to his victims, but he can't apologize to the community of which he's part of which has helped greatly build his career, okay? He can't do that at all, right? Okay, so I'm real sorry, James Charles, that you can't find a boyfriend, okay? And that you think that nobody can name 5 gay people your age that are out and about in Hollywood, when I did that in my past video, and many people have named people, and you can Google out people that are your age in Hollywood and come up with 30. No, the problem isn't that there aren't people that are out and proud in Hollywood, okay? The problem is none of them want anything to do with you, okay? That's the reality. Nobody's interested in you, okay? And like I said in my last video, I learned a very valuable lesson from my mom when I was much younger. Nobody in life is promised a partner, okay? Yes, I think that it would be nice if people had love, okay? I think it would be nice if people had a partner in life. I feel very blessed to have had that, okay? And I feel very blessed to have a husband in my life. But it's not promised to people. My mom went 30, 40 years without ever having a partner, okay? There's a lot of people out there that will never find that. You have a very blessed life. You have a thriving career. You really haven't been canceled. You're living in a $7 million, as she describes, Kardashian-style house in Hollywood. But you feel like this is a good excuse to go to these lengths, okay? Because you're desperate. That's why it's the meme of the century, okay? Because it's a joke. Because you're entitled and you think you're deserving of this. Your actions are part of the reason why you don't have a partner. Own that, and maybe you'll find one. Anyway, that prayer, Lord, it did not work, okay? I'm gonna have to do some more prayers because this did not work. Anyway, let me know what you think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.